Yo, 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 welcome to another episode of the Living for a Living podcast. I'm your host, Joey Bradley, and this week's guest was literally brought to us by the universe. As we had already talked, I knew he was going to be in town in Barcelona, but we randomly saw each other on the corner, completely unplanned, in the middle of the city. And so once that happened, I knew this one was going to be magical, which it definitely is. Our guest is a professional basketball player in Germany right now. This is his third year playing abroad after he's a former walk-on hooper at Eastern Washington University and then ended up leading the country in scoring his senior year before getting drafted by the Orlando Magic in the second round. He also has his own clothing brand called The Moment, which I'm rocking right here. Got the Breathe t-shirt on, and he's a big proponent of mental health and keeping it real. And so, man, this podcast was one of my favorite ones as we really connected on multiple levels. Without any further ado, our guest this week, Mr. Tyler Harvey.
Living for a living, baby. How you doing?
But, bro, as soon as that happened, I was like, okay, we're for sure doing the podcast because, like, there is some little universal thing going on right now because, no, like you said, we were in, like, a main area, but not a main area at the same time.
No.
And for the paths to cross,
bro,
was insane. And, like, when I saw you there, I'm on the back of the scooter, and I'm like, I know Tyler said he was going to be here, but what day is it? It was like that kind of like this whole little train of thoughts going on in my mind. I'm like, okay, he said Sunday, I think. It is Sunday. That looks like Tyler, and that kind of looks like his girl from the picture. That is Tyler. And so I realized too that I hopped off the scooter.
Oh, it was still moving.
Like still moving, and it was hella funny. I was telling this to my roommate last night, this exact story. Like, yeah, bro, I saw my homie from back home.
Right.
Completely random. We didn't talk about it.
Nothing.
Just see each other on the corner.
Right.
And, I kind of finished the story, and he goes, okay, now, he goes, I'm going to tell you what Eve told me, like the story. Because she said, we pull up, and she thought that I fell off the scooter.
Oh, she did?
Because I
you went out like that?
Dude, like, I somehow just like, whoop, like got off of, I don't know how, but my hips were flexible on that one.
Haley was like, who is this coming at us? I was like, I don't know.
I got the helmet on. You can't really, I know the look on your guys' face were like, who's this crazy guy in Barcelona right now?
Hold on, hey, watch out.
Because I just stood up, I'm like, yo!
Dude, oh man, that was honestly one of the best experiences, bro. Like unplanned events like that are what.
Dude,
it's just weird how the world works, man.
For sure. No, and like, I mean, I know you're a universe guy, and like that's kind of what I knew as soon as we were starting. Like what's your like earliest thing of like believing in the universe? Like dating back to, for me it's been, I first read The Secret. Basically when I was in like middle school or something. And so it's always kind of been there. And so when I start talking about this kind of shit, like I'm always curious to know what was your first
experience?
Intro into the universe.
Well, so I grew up Christian.
Okay.
And so I believe there is a God and there's a higher authority other than myself. But after college, when I started getting into meditation and, understanding the mind and how the world works a little bit, it kind of opened my eyes more to like, how things are all connected somehow. And like I said, so for me, like growing up Christian, I knew there was a higher, but I wasn't like diving deep into that. Like as you get older, you kind of learn things more. So like now I just feel like everything kind of just happens the way it's supposed to. And if something's off or something's on, like it's supposed to be that way. So
100. For
sure, when you told me that, when I told you that, I was like mind blown. You were like, I'm really not. I'm kind of just like, I guess he's kind of right. I guess I shouldn't be too mind blown about it because I mean, events like that happen, and it's just kind of like a sign, like, okay, it's supposed to be like this, so we're supposed to be here linked up somehow.
Totally.
We connected, but we weren't like, all right, we're gonna meet this day or what day. You didn't even know when I was here.
No, and that's what, when I went back to text you about it, and I was like, oh shit, like, because we're all forgetful, and like, I meant to respond and be like, all right, hit me, when I knew, and it just slipped my mind, honestly.
Happens,
but that
bro.
was like, for me, and I'm getting chills as I say it, so it's like, as soon as it happened, I was like,
Okay.
whoa, like
Yeah.
we gotta
We gotta do
relink. Like
something.
there's something, like I've always, like shit back even like when we met that first time at Tim's and we were
Right.
grinding, and then I think I forget where you left to. You went
Probably
D League or
yeah, G League, Memphis,
to
yeah.
Memphis, yeah. And like I made that video. Like there
Yeah.
was something telling me, bro, back then.
Really?
Like, cause bro, I didn't fucking know you
Yeah,
then.
I didn't know you at all, bro.
And I just randomly made I was
Yeah,
like,
that
but
was
there was
sick,
this
though.
little thing in my mind that was like, yo, make a video for this dude because, and then the whole like road less traveled thing, and
Right.
like you jump,
That
you
year
vibe
was
with that
crazy.
too, and so like I just always kind of thought like
It's weird, bro.
there's
The
something
energy,
there,
I don't know.
and it's it's how it is sometimes, and do you consider, are you Christian now? Would you consider
Yeah,
yourself
I'm still a Christian, man. My whole life's been based on my faith, and I think I know that's how I've gotten this far in life.
Word.
I mean, for me, everybody has their own, what they believe in and everything, but I do believe there is a higher power up there because I can't do this by myself. Things like this.
Totally, yeah. No, I just asked, like, I mean, I consider myself like hella spiritual, but not
Yeah.
necessarily religious, and
Yeah.
like I totally believe that there is something higher, and that we're all like, we all got a piece of that higher
Right.
whatever being in ourselves,
Right.
basically. And but I'm always kind of curious to know, like, and this is just, I'm going off on a little
Yeah.
rant kind of, is like, religion's interesting to me in a way because I always said, like, I need to experience some more stuff before I make up my mind that
Right.
this is exactly how it is. And
Right.
so, but no, the universe, and when you start talking about the universe, like, bro, I pray to the universe,
Right.
and you could say that's the higher power of God,
Yeah,
Allah,
exactly.
whoever it may be.
Right.
Like, the way that I talk to it is the same way,
Yeah, I pray every night. Bro. We all do.
anyone's talking to it, and so like I used to be judgmental towards,
Really?
religious people, like, how can you believe in something like, da 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 da, and
Right.
now I'm like, I was a hypocrite
Right.
because I'm doing, I'd start my day with some morning prayers, like,
Right.
gratitude,
Without even
and
knowing.
I'm praying out to the
Whatever.
vastness,
Right.
I necessarily don't have a specific
Right.
person or whatever, but it's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, getting like the amount of controversy and like conflict
Right.
over that kind of
Right.
thing, where when you talk to someone that to me is like a truly religious person,
Right.
like, this kind of conversation is welcome.
Yeah.
And-
some people can make it an argument.
And
right?
yeah, it doesn't need to be an argument. And so, no, do you have any other kind of experiences like how we had this, like,
Oh,
something where
man.
like you thought, something that sticks out in your mind that like you thought of and bam, it happened, like good or bad?
I don't know, dude. Like I said earlier, I feel like when you look back sometimes in your life, you start seeing how things connect.
Totally.
Like one doesn't come to mind specifically where I was just like, oh my gosh, like what experience with you, like it was wild because we're in the middle, like this is middle of nowhere to some people. Like,
For sure.
I mean, I know you're here and I travel here, but
Bro, and that's 40 minutes away from my crib.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
like that's
I got chills. That was wild to me. I couldn't stop talking about that. I talked about that. I still do. But like my life has just been such a roller coaster, and I look back now and I see why things happen the way they happen. And I mean, like I'm a walk-on guy from California, bro. Like, and I got drafted in the NBA somehow.
Yeah,
Like, to
yeah.
me, that if that doesn't say that there's something up there guiding me, like I don't know what does. So I mean, I know my life's connected, and when I get older, I see how things start playing its way out.
For sure. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Like, I can literally like go back to like being 14 or 15, and I was gonna transfer to Bellevue High School
Right.
to play football there.
Yeah.
Because my mom grew up with Butch, the coach there, and I knew I wouldn't throw the ball that much, but you get in that program
Right.
and you're going to win, and then coaches are going to, make. My mom ended up not wanting to move, so I
Right.
stuck it out at Issaquah, ended up getting in trouble in Issaquah my junior year, like bam,
Things
bam,
just-
bam, bam. And like a lot of them are like, at the time, like negative
Oh, 100%.
instances or
Yes.
like experiences that
Why
I
is
was
this happening to me?
struggling with.
Right.
And now, like, looking back, it's like, damn, if I don't get arrested my junior year,
Right.
and I don't play it all that year, and I only play my senior year, I don't end up going to JUCO.
Right.
Because I probably would have gotten a D2 offer, and taken it.
Right.
Or something, and then if I don't go to JUCO, I don't do this, and I don't meet this coach that's literally like the
bro.
way I am mentally for football now.
Yes.
And and then if I don't, go to North Dakota,
It's crazy.
you can literally like step by step that put us
where
right
we
here,
are.
right here.
But at the moment, you don't see it like
right
that.
there
Right?
on the corner in fucking
bro.
Barcelona.
It's just crazy. It is just crazy to me, but everything happens for a reason. That's
sure.
my motto, man. Everything
sure.
good and bad, if you just stick through it, it happens for a reason. I don't know what. Sometimes you don't know what in that moment, and you still might not. But at the end of the day, I think everything's connected.
Totally. And that kind of brings up, I just was on the way over here reading a quote or last night on Instagram or something in the book I'm reading maybe somewhere, that essentially like, you're, and I believe this too, that you're, sometimes when you're going through like the darkest tunnel, like that leads to the brightest light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. And I was wondering like what, I know you got something similar, like maybe, and it's a little bit vulnerable, but like what is, a dark time that you were like struggling with, and then like you hit that end of the tunnel that was like, okay.
Right.
I see it.
Yeah. For me, I think going into college,
okay.
My first year I was a walk-on, and I didn't play for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
It's not easy. You're practicing every day. You're a red shirt, so you're not on offense a lot. You're playing defense majority of practice. But I wouldn't. It wasn't a dark time. It was just like tough time. You're like, okay, like, am I good enough to be playing basketball at this level? I know I'm walked on. I know I'm trying to get a scholarship. So you start doubting yourself a little bit, especially at that age. I wasn't into mental health like I am now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're aware of the thoughts, but you're not really. You're kind of like, dang, why am I thinking like this? Like I never really doubted myself before, but a time where what got me into mental health was my first year overseas. Towards the end of my first year overseas in Italy, I kind of got into mental health a little bit, but it was that second year in France that I really kind of dove deep into it. You're just so far away from home. People don't realize that. Yes, we're professional athletes, but we do miss our families. My wife, she wasn't my wife at the time, my girl, she wasn't with me. So we had a lot of lonely times up there. So for me, that was a time to dive into the mental health and mental side of things, and why we think and why we do the things we do.
You read a book or like
I did.
What was
I read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
I've heard of it. It's on my list. Yeah.
That was a really good book. And then I got into meditation. I use the Headspace app meditation.
Okay.
And that just kind of opened my eyes to like awareness of my thoughts, and which was kind of scary at first. When people that meditate know this, like you think some weird things sometimes. Like you can be in the middle of the game and be like, damn, what happens if I miss this? Like then like once that starts, you start going down that path, that spiral, bro, and it's hard to get out of it.
Totally.
So for me, I realized I was probably thinking things more than I knew I was, and I wasn't aware of it. And ever since then, man, I've been just kind of aware of what I've been thinking, and just coming back to that breath and that center to help me. But I honestly think meditation and knowing about the mind has kind of changed my life and changed my athletic career as well, bro. Like last year was one of my best years professionally as an athlete, and I think I credit that to the mental side and the mental health. And I just try to get better every day, man. Some days you're just not feeling it, and it's just okay to not feel it, which is fine. And
it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah. So I'm realizing that as well, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, man. That's like reflecting back for myself. Like it's weird. I've always like some of the stuff I'll read about the mental health or psychology. Like I feel like I've innately known without knowing. Like because while talking about everything happens for a reason, like I would have never predicted 2010 that I'd be playing in Barcelona like right now.
No.
But if that's a 10-year span.
Right.
But if I would take it for like 6-month chunks or even 2-month chunks at a time,
right.
like life has damn near gone exactly how I thought it would.
Really?
Like, just at 6 months, like, okay, I'm going to go to JUCO. And then, but there might be an adversity thing. Like,
Right.
okay, I thought first year at JUCO I was going to start.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up gray shirting. And so, but like once, and that was like sitting in my room crying, like
Right.
thinking about going home. But then once, okay, this happened, how are we going to react?
Right.
Now the next thing's like, all right, I'm going to kill it in scout. I'm going to be a teammate.
Right.
And then this next year I'm going to really kill it.
Right.
And then that happened. I'm going to get a D1 scholar,
Right.
and then that happened. And then like,
Just sets it up,
right?
right?
And so like in those little kind of chunk moments, it's gone.
It's a good perspective.
Exactly how, but in the
Grand
you
scheme
look
of
at the
things,
macro of it, it hasn't gone all how I thought.
At all, bro. Me either. I can 100% agree to that.
Yeah. And why, like going back to college a little bit, like, why'd you pick Eastern again? Because I'm sure you had other spots to walk on at.
So I actually had no scholarship offers out
Okay.
of high school. So the coach at Eastern, Jim Hayford, he was coaching Whitworth. You know Whitworth down
Yeah,
in Spokane.
okay, yeah.
It was Division III at the time.
Yeah.
So I was going to go there, bro. I was actually going to go there. And he got the job at Eastern that year, my senior year. And he said I can walk on. So that's how I ended up at Eastern. I always wanted to play D1. I mean, it's everyone's dream to play D1. So, of course, I was going to do it, walk on or not. It was Division I basketball.
And then when did you end up getting the scholarship?
So 2 years.
2 years?
2 years,
and
yep.
just putting it in, and how do you remember that?
Um,
Because that's
Yeah, it was towards the end of the year after my redshirt year. I didn't play pretty much the whole year. And then the last 10 games, we had some guys go down, and it was one game we were down like 25 in the fourth quarter. And I've told this story many times, but I came in and just sparked off, man. I had 6 threes, and we ended up winning that game in overtime. And ever since that moment, it's kind of, and I feel like as athletes, you need something to validate that work you put in. As much as you know how good you think you are, it's like those validations don't hurt.
Sure.
So after I had that game, I know it was late in the year, and the year was almost over, but it just sparked a new confidence in me, man. And honest to God, I haven't looked back since that moment. And it's that was a game-changing moment in my life without even knowing it at the time. But that moment helped me tremendously.
Yeah, dang, man. And then leading scorer senior year?
Yeah.
And then getting drafted.
Yep.
And what was that process from senior year, leading score? I mean, were you, in the time that you're just scoring, and or are you thinking I need to keep scoring,
Right.
or was there? Because I know at this point the mental health thing still wasn't there. So
Yeah.
what was your mindset in terms of at the time how you were thinking about it?
So it's weird. Ever since I can remember, I've never looked at stats.
Okay.
And I still don't.
Yeah.
I don't like numbers. I don't like to be defined by my numbers. I know that's how you get jobs, and that's what, that's how you get paid at the end of the day is by numbers. But I feel like the numbers always take care of itself. If
sure.
you put the work in and you're confident in the work you're putting in, I feel like the numbers take care of itself. So I actually had one more year of college left.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So during that junior year, my coach was like, yeah, you're leading the nation in scoring. And, like I said, I had no idea. So I was like, oh, wow, I am? Really? And, a lot of
dope.
attention
That's
came
really
with
cool.
that, ESPN interviews and stuff. But they were just kind of like, how do you feel about that? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't expect to lead the nation in scoring, man. I'm a walk-on student who just got a scholarship a year ago. I don't know. And then, my name started coming in, oh, is he going to go to the draft or not? Or is he going to come back another year?
Yeah.
But for me, I feel like it was just the right time to enter the draft. I mean, I don't know if I was going to lead the nation in scoring next year. Who knows? I just felt like you got to strike when the iron was hot, and I felt it was hot. So I decided to go for it, and ended up getting drafted number 51 to the Magic.
Yeah. And then what was the process after being going from was that a change of life at all, or?
It's crazy, man. I was just telling Haley about this. It's you don't know what you're in for.
Yeah.
Right? You don't know what you don't know. So after I got drafted, I'm thinking okay, I'll be in the NBA next year. I'll grind, kind of like my college story. I'm going to grind in the NBA and I'm going to whatever. But, it just doesn't go like that. I spent the whole year in the G League. Mentally, I don't know if I was looking back now. I don't know if I was ready for the NBA.
In what way?
Just my mind. I don't know. Like I feel like it's a bigger adjustment mentally than most people realize. And
Like off the court or on the court or
on the court, like
Okay.
you're playing against the best of the best now.
For sure.
So like I was always confident, but dealing with adversity, I don't know. Like mentally, I wish I knew about mental health and the psychology of sports then, like I do now. But I'm glad I didn't, because now I look back on it like, oh, that led me up to this moment. You know, like after I got drafted, I'm like, I didn't know what to expect, man. I mean, I really didn't. I'm like, okay, what do I do? I played summer league there in Orlando. I'm like, okay, am I gonna be in the league next year? Am I gonna be in the G League? Who knew? So like after that year in the G League, I didn't have a good year.
Okay.
I really didn't. It was a struggle, up and downs, and it was just hard for me to get from that college to that level. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. It was just hard.
Yeah.
And I would try to fight through it, and it just wasn't a good year. And so after that, I went overseas to Italy, and then the next year to France, and then I had okay years overseas. And Italy again wasn't really my best year.
Yeah.
I think I was still trying to find myself as a player and kind of what my role was going to be. I mean, I was going from leading nation scorer to like not forgetting how to score, but wow, this is harder than it actually looks.
And then in the same kind of train of thought, like once that little idea gets in your head,
spiral.
And you're like, shit, how did
How
I
did I
do
do
that?
it?
And then you're trying to like recreate some
Yes.
shit that wasn't like you weren't even thinking about
No.
when you were doing it,
No,
and now you're
bro.
trying too hard, and
Yes,
no,
and that messes it up.
dude. Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean, bro? It's like I don't realize that then, but now I do. That's what I was like. God, I would look at old film in college. I'm like, wow, how did I do that?
Yeah. And you, at the time, you weren't thinking at all
No.
like I'm gonna do this.
No.
It was just you were doing.
Yes.
And no, I mean, shit, bro. Like, kind of off topic, but similar is like, for me, dude, I like with a lot of things, the podcast, some of the video stuff I do, like, man, it's just important to do.
Right.
And not like, think we're similar probably, I'm guessing, is like, I will plan and like think.
I'm an analyzer.
You know, analyze, bro. Super
big
analyze
analyzer.
and analyze and think, and okay, well, maybe if I
do
that and get this set up and get that
100%,
workout
bro.
like that and get this podcast. Okay, I'm gonna get, like I was talking off before, is like, okay, I'm gonna get all 7 podcasts done and then release it.
Right.
And then by the time I was like getting ready to release it, I'm caught up in, oh shit, these aren't even that good. Like, what should I do? And you know, with like football, it's been, 2019 took it off kind of because of the Finland thing not working out, and kind of getting back here, and it's like how was I, like, because the first 2 years I had in Europe were in Lisbon, not making no money really, but having the best time. Like, football was so fun, and now I'm like at times struggling, even though I'm like, dude, I'm fucking living in Barcelona, playing ball.
Not bad.
Like, but why am I feeling like this?
Yes.
And then like with you, same thing, like, okay, how did I do it back then to make it this way?
Yes.
And ultimately it was like, I wasn't thinking about
I just did it.
this, I was just doing it.
That's a fact, bro.
And so, no, man, that's like been my kind of little New Year's resolution, or not, I don't like to call it that, but like
Your
a
intention.
2020 intention is like, be in the now, like speak your truth, like keep it, like your truth might be wrong,
but it's your truth.
but it's your truth. And at least if you verbalize it with like whatever, like, shit, man, another day in practice, I like kind of feel bad. Like, we only had it was a Friday practice on a bye week. We practiced late. Like, we don't get great attendance on Fridays. We had like 2-3 receivers there. We couldn't do team. We're doing one-on-one, like,
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it got to a point though, like, where we had another quarterback there who's new, he's just here for like exchange student.
Right.
And So we're splitting I'm getting like, 1 or 2 reps per 3 or 4 reps,
Right.
and like, man, it's my job. I'm competitive. I want
Right.
to do it. And at one point I was literally like, bro, this is a waste of my time.
Right.
And like, I kind of felt guilty about like saying that.
Yeah.
Cause I'm like, damn,
Out
like
loud,
that,
right?
Yeah.
You do think that.
Like I feel like, because I do think I'm super privileged and everything
Right.
with the circumstances, but at the same time, like, I kind of felt guilty about it. But then as I thought about it, I was like, I really don't, because
That's how you felt.
that's how I felt. And
Right.
I wasn't like I wasn't like being mean to anybody at the
Right.
time, like, but that's just how I felt. And like, maybe it, I don't, I
Didn't
mean,
come out
I don't,
right.
I don't, yeah, maybe,
Right.
you can always maybe say it a better way, but
Right.
like, shit, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And so, no, man, it's been 2020. I think, like, we talked about this on Instagram at one point. Like, 2019 was like the year of the roller coaster.
Yeah, right.
Like,
right.
ups and downs.
Right. Right.
to the
Crazy ups and
max.
downs, man.
And I hope now, like, although I think the ups and downs are good, I had this one guy on, and I'm about to release this clip either today or tomorrow, and he said he used to work in the medical field, and he said, like, life is like the heartbeat, where like, if you need the constant up and downs,
Right.
like bump, 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 bump,
Right.
bump. He's like, as soon as you're flat, like, basically there's no meaning to your life.
Right.
And so that's been I'm just rambling at this point, but
That's all right.
that's
what it
that's
is.
been like a thought of like, all right, when you're down,
There's only one way.
you're coming
Back
up,
up.
and that's, the down is like kind of almost like trying to appreciate the downs, and like, and how you said, like, it's okay to not be okay as long as the positivity's still
Right.
there and you're looking for a solution,
Right.
or you're confident that a solution is going to come. Because
100%.
sometimes when you're looking and trying too hard,
It
like
just-
how we're saying, how did I do that?
Yes.
You end up trying too hard and
Yes.
almost like getting more anxiety.
Yes.
But being confident that it's going to come, I don't know.
I think
man.
that's a big like. So here's a funny story. So last year, talking about like how did I do whatever. Last year was the first year I kind of went to the year saying, okay, whatever happens is gonna happen. And I remember Haley texting me one game. I wasn't playing well to start the year last year.
Okay.
And she was like, just go out there and have fun and remember what it's like to play basketball, and just go out there, have fun, and just try to win the game. Right. I don't know why, but I saved that text because I was like, you're right. Like, I just need to go out there and have fun. And since that point, bro, like, I had the best year ever. And then, but the one down from last year, so it was like February coming back from break. I was playing good basketball. Call ups and things like that. You start coming in your mind, right? So
okay.
like, I'm like, okay, hope there's still a chance I get called up. And then, like, bro, the next week broke my foot. Right. So then
Yeah.
you start thinking like, okay, like, why is this happening? I had a day where I was just kind of not like just sulking, man. Like I just
sure.
needed a day like,
For sure.
like, man, like, why is this happening? I was doing so well, and like, but like I said, it's that up and down that. But when you're in it, you're like, why did this happen, right? But
Especially, sorry to cut you
No,
off,
you're
bro.
good.
Especially now that you kind of believe what you believe,
Right.
And like in the universe, and everything happens for a reason,
Right.
And like back in when I was 20 and I get gray shirted and like shit hits the fan, like I'm not thinking like there's a reason for this. I'm thinking fucking poor me,
Yes, bro.
But now like you're saying, and now when something bad happens, I'm like, okay.
yes,
Why? What? And then you start searching
analyzing
for-
it,
yeah.
right? So I really had to stop myself from doing that, man. I just had to be like, okay, it is what it is. I can't change the fact that I just broke my foot at a really crucial time, possible call-up time. But hey, all right, I think that helped me. The mental side helped me get through that time. Before, I don't know if I would have been ready to handle that as I did. And of course, I had my wife with me and everything. But being aware of the mind and psychology is like, okay, like, it's gonna be okay. You're not dead. You just
Yeah.
broke your foot
Yeah.
at a really bad time, but you know, at the end of the day, things happen for a reason, and you'll get through it, and eventually you get through it, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you always get through it.
Exactly. Yeah. No, and that's a bit you said. Like, I have to remind myself of it when I'm getting caught up on whatever in football. Like,
Whatever.
At the end of the day, bro, it's just football.
It is.
It's just basketball.
It's just hoop,
like,
man.
yes, like in a way,
it's our life.
it's our life, and
Yes.
and or it's our livelihood.
Right.
We should say, because you do other stuff outside. You know, like that's the one thing over the last couple of years I've really been trying to like not identify as a football player.
Right.
You know, I changed my bio on Instagram. I'm just a human being.
being.
Everything else is secondary.
Yeah.
You know, and so because I used to, have football QB editor that it's just
whole bio.
it's kind of what
Yeah.
we do on that.
Right.
And I was thinking to myself, like, and I heard something, a podcast, whatever, or like Instagram video, like if you have this identity, whatever it may be,
Right.
and that gets taken away from you
Deep.
for whatever it is, like now you feel lesser.
I read that quote. I
Yeah,
think.
like you feel like you're lesser. And so I was like, shit, like, if like, one day if like I'm not feeling the podcast thing, or it, someone says it sucks, or, I just don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
But I have in my identity that I'm this podcast guy, or,
Right.
Use it for football or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, now I'm feeling a little lesser because of
Right.
this little title that
Right.
I've
You
anointed myself.
That you created up
yeah,
here.
that like
100%.
no one came to me and said
You're
you're a
this."
football guy.
Right. It's what it's just how our mind
It's
is.
just and at the same time you need that a little bit, because I think to get where we've been,
You have to have a little bit of that.
you got to
ego
have
and
that.
confidence.
It's
Yes,
like that
100%.
balancing thing. And I want to know, though, I'm switching it a little bit.
Switch it up.
Of like how, because dude, I'll be very on. I've done a couple long distance relationships in my life.
Okay.
And I was real bad at them for the
Yeah.
most part. I've done one. I've been a good boy one time.
Yeah.
And
Once upon a time.
yeah, it was most recent one too, so I feel good about it. But
Right.
like, how'd you make that work and then end up to get to where you are today? Because with the marriage, and I
Right.
mean, like, I'm just seeing it in real bits and pieces,
Yeah.
but I'm seeing it in person, not just on Instagram.
Right.
Everyone can make it look good on Instagram
course.
and shit, but like, seems really good to me.
Yes.
And so that's something that, sometimes in my mind I think, shit, I'm never getting married or
Right.
whatever. But then on other hands, it's like, man, it's nice to have that, like, that teammate,
It is, man.
And so like, how'd you navigate that? Like, I'm just curious,
So we met in college, I think my sophomore year into my freshman year. And we dated throughout all college, man. And I won't say I knew she was the one in the beginning, but I knew pretty soon after I met her, like, she's special. Like,
Yeah.
Haley, she's special, man. And after college, we went straight into long distance. So
Yeah.
we had to have that hard conversation, like, okay, we're going to – I knew I wasn't going to break up with her.
Okay.
I was not going to let her go. So it was just a lot of sacrifice, man. Like, she sacrificed so much to travel to see me. Like, I was in Erie, Pennsylvania my first year out. Like, she would come see me out there in Pennsylvania. Like, who wants to come out there? Like, I know this is not the life she dreamed of, man. Probably growing up, traveling, like, with this guy. But I think the hardest was overseas.
Yeah.
That was the hardest, because she would have to wake up at 5 a.m. to FaceTime me, because I had practice at 10 and then I'm back at 4. So we had the little window.
100%.
And she came to visit me a lot.
Okay.
So, like, she stayed, I think, for 2 or 3 months. That first year out in Italy. In France, she came out for 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
But to say it was easy, I'd be lying to you, man.
Yeah.
There's some days you just miss each other, right? And, say you have an argument or something, you can't just see him and be like, all right, let's squash it now. Like, you have to FaceTime and try to get through it. And we're good with that, man. She's honestly the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like, she's helped me get to this point. Without her, there's no way in hell I could make it this far. And having her last year, she was with me pretty much all year last year. And honestly, I think that has a lot to do with my success. Being the best year I had basketball last year in the States, and this year's also another, it's a great year. I mean, we're out here together. I get to play basketball, and, when things don't go well in basketball, I know I can come home to my wife and, everything's okay. So I'm extremely lucky, man. Like I said, I tell her all the time she probably didn't dream of this because it's hard for her, man.
Although,
like,
hey, bro, this she probably was dreaming of this.
I mean,
this
yeah,
right here. You know?
But like, you know, she likes to work, and it's hard not work. Like people don't understand.
True. Yeah.
That it's a lot harder on them because we're doing our dream. I'm following my passion.
100%.
It's taking it away from hers.
For sure.
So she's sacrificed a lot for me.
And what's she doing out in Germany? Like,
so she worked. She quit her job in I think November.
okay.
So we've been traveling. On days off, you know, we'll go to Munich or Stuttgart. Okay. But I mean, it's easier because she'd work from 2 to 10. So we couldn't really have dinners, and it's a lot easier now.
That's tough.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm glad that she quit. I mean, like I said, she wants to work. Like it's hard not working, but you know, she's been the best wife to me, and you know, she keeps me going. So I am fully indebted for life for that.
For sure.
For sure.
No, that's cool, bro. Like I said, I've been the chick you saw me with when we had the Universal Connection. I've been seeing her now couple weeks, and it's just like, I don't know, like in a way I almost feel, I feel like weird saying, you know, like, but at the same time, like there's something there,
right?
You know, and to your point of like it's just like,
it's hard to come by. You know when you meet someone special,
exactly,
right, and you don't want to lose it.
Exactly.
I knew I didn't want to lose her early on.
Yeah, no, and when it's like you're I'm getting a little soft here, but it's all right. When you're like you're almost like a better version, or like you want to be a better version. You know, like I've always had this kind of mindset of like, okay, first I need to get myself right.
Right.
You know, because I think that in relationships, like, you know, when you're with someone and in that loving atmosphere, like you can, I'm just using arbitrary kind of numbers here, but you can boost yourself up like
100%, bro.
10%, 20% or whatever.
100%.
And that's possible. Like, and so if you can get yourself to 95, 100, and with that other person, now you're boosted up to like 110.
You're a great,
you know,
version
105, you know, and like that's you're more than what you could be solo.
Yes.
But I think a problem, and now I'm just judging a little bit, but I think a problem a lot with people sometimes is they use that other person or that relationship to, like, they might be at 50
right
of themselves, and then they use that other to maybe get up to like a 70,
right,
75, and
right, that doesn't work though, man.
You know, and then ultimately, and maybe the other person has a different number, but they're not at that same kind of eye level.
100%.
And it's just been something I've been thinking about a lot lately because, shit, I'm 30 coming up.
Right.
And, I mean, I'm in no rush by any stretch of the imagination, but at the same time, like, I think now that I've seen it, and it's just been in a very short spurt.
Right.
But to see, like, I'm legitimately a little more happy.
Yes.
Like I'm,
You're looking forward to that, bro.
I'm more friendly around the house to my roommates at times.
Right.
You know, like not like I'm a dick, but some mornings like
you can't.
I don't want to. I don't want to hear.
It.
Yeah, I don't want to hear whatever you got to tell me.
Right.
Now I'm like, yeah, what's up, bro? You know,
just
like
let it be, man. You can't analyze it.
You know?
Us analyzers, man, we're thinking like, oh,
totally.
But just let it be.
Are you a Virgo? What are you? What's
Cancer.
Cancer. Okay, yeah. Do you believe in that kind of stuff too, or what's your?
Not really, man.
Okay.
I remember my wife was reading me some things.
She's into it?
No, but she read something and she was like, "Oh my God, that's you." I'm like, "What?" Like, and it kind of lined up perfectly to what we were, and I don't forget what she is, but like. It was weird how it kind of made sense, but I really haven't looked into that stuff.
Bro,
no.
I will admit, like, I'm not like basing all my life decisions off of it or whatever.
No.
But at the same time, like, I'm fully like
really
getting into that world a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, you know, the analytical part of me is like, well,
yes,
you can, the way they're vague and kind of leave it open to interpretation. You know, you can pick and choose and figure out a way to relate, but like you should do it at some point. Now I feel like the crazy lady on the side of the street, bro. But like
read it.
Do it, dude. At some point, do like your true birth chart.
Okay.
And I know
and see how it is.
Dude, because you have to say birthplace, time of date, or time of birth, all these things, and it'll give you Man, I feel
I'll
funny,
do it.
right?
You
for
we'll
real.
Do it.
And,
we'll do
and
it.
dude, and it does it. I mean, there's websites where it's for free, and it'll
Okay.
give you fucking 3 pages of stuff, and bro,
Legit.
I mean, at least my experience, it's tripped me out.
Right.
Like, because
Okay.
it's essentially like, man, and I'm not even an expert on it, but essentially like your sun sign is like how the world sees you or how you shine in
Right.
the world
Right.
or whatever. And that I don't know all the
Details.
characteristics of each
Yeah.
and everything. And then the moon is like how you are with, there's 3 main ones that are important, I guess.
Right.
And the moon is like how you are, how you feel actually inside.
Okay.
And then there's one other, like ascending or something, is how you
I'm gonna
are
do it.
in relationships. And dude, the weird little connections of like
It all adds up a little
dog, like it's tripped me out, especially like Ava, the girl,
Yeah.
like she's into it.
bit. Okay.
And so I was into it a little bit before that,
But now
like
somebody who's into it
yeah,
can
and
kinda show you.
I've like some other people throughout my life have been into it,
Right.
But like I'm in,
You're in
you
it.
know, shit. I wasn't
I'm
planning
gonna-
on
I'm
talking
gonna-
about
I'm gonna
this
look
at
it
all,
up,
bro.
man. I'm
No,
gonna look it up.
it's a weird little, and then like you start, I feel it's weird sometimes, but I think weird's a good thing. Of like, with, you see all the stuff on Instagram to like Mercury's in retrograde and like the
Yeah.
sun and the moon and
Yeah.
and bro, but like I don't know. I think there's my thing is like if I'm believing in the universe
Yeah.
and that kind of like invisible power,
Right.
essentially, and the energy, like why
Could be
would this
something
thing,
there.
This thing has
Right.
something to it too,
Right.
and so
I'm about to look into that.
no,
and see what you're
I
talking
think
about.
but like I said, is you'll look at it and I've been the same. I was like, man, someone else could
That's
agree to
right.
this too,
Exactly.
But shoot, bro, mine is like I was reading it like, whoa,
It's accurate.
yeah.
All right, you're gonna
Yeah.
get a DM. I'm gonna be like, bro, I did it.
For sure.
I'm gonna
man.
see what mine's talking about.
For sure. And I've been talking a little bit about social media, and I wanted to like compliment you or whatever. Like, I really enjoy like how you've been using social media, like
Appreciate it, man.
stuff you're posting, and like, like navigating with it and
Yeah.
how we communicate on it.
Yeah.
And dude, but for real, the one thing I really wanted to say too is like I'm fucking with your TikTok efforts.
Thank you, bro.
Like really, like
It's coming.
dude. It and it's inspired because like I honestly want to kind of be doing what you're doing, but
Right.
like the self-consciousness or whatever
Dude,
it is,
don't even
like
start me with that,
insecurity of
man.
it, like. I haven't
Yes.
fully done, but then I'll be scrolling on my
You'll
on
see
my
some
following,
random-
and bro, a couple of times you'll love it. Like a couple times of whatever will start, and I'm like I'm thinking to myself, what like it's like a true TikToker's TikTok. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? It's like, then I look down at the thing, and it's like T. Harvey. I'm like, oh,
dude,
Tyler's
that's
doing his thing, bro.
hilarious, bro.
Dude.
So it's funny, bro, because Haley, at first, she was like, this is like a child thing. I'm like, I know, I feel, but I follow Gary Vee, and that man said that TikTok is going to be the platform in a couple years, man. So I'm like, I'm going to just do it. It's super weird. Like, I'm not a artistic guy. I'm not good at like filming things, but like I told Haley, I'm going to use it as kind of like a documentation of what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if we go to a cool restaurant, I'm going to document it. If we do something cool, or I'm going to document it and put it up. And sometimes people just mess with it, bro. Like I had that avocado video go crazy viral, and I'm like, it's just an avocado, but people like it, man. So I mean, and I don't know. I'm going to use it and just document it and see where it goes, man. Like I don't plan those, and
No,
who knows?
not at all. No, that's like I've been, and I need to get into that kind of like figure out the way I want to use it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Gary Vee guy too,
Yeah.
to the max, and like I mean his track record of predictions
It's unbelievable.
are pretty crazy. So like I know he's right. Pretty much,
Right.
and it's already like obvious he's right. Like when you
Yeah.
look at like if you're a music artist on it,
You
you need to
blow
be
up.
making and you're trying to blow up in that way.
Right.
Like you got to get your shit on TikTok.
Right.
Because it's like you see the stats of it, and it goes
crazy.
from the line being flatline basically at 0 to your thing going viral on TikTok, and now you have 1 million streams a day.
Yes.
And
it's crazy, bro. I don't even know what to post on there sometimes, but I feel like the more you post, you kind of just, it gives you feedback on what works and what doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't know
true.
what the heck to post, man. I just post, and whatever happens.
And that's the thing with it, is that I think my problem for sure is like, I'm kind of analytical with it.
100%.
And like, okay, well, maybe I should make it like this or like
video.
that, or and it's like, no, I mean, some of the ones that are going viral or whatever are like
corniest videos.
The corniest and the most unthought out.
An avocado restaurant. I'm like, okay, this is weird. How the heck does this happen? But it just brings awareness to like, okay, then you can drop in like some mental health stuff every once in a while in there, and people be like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know. It's just a good platform to
for sure
help build brand.
And I think now that we're talking about this, and it, I kind of wrote in my little note, like, I gotta at least compliment him on it, because
I appreciate that.
It's an inspiration in a way, bro. Like, for real. But it's like, how do I say it? I want to get it to a point where, I need to put more of the podcast stuff on it.
100%.
Even though that's
might
not
just get
necessarily
scrolled over,
the
but
platform or whatever, but like,
it will be.
As you said before we got, if one person is affected by whatever, this conversation, dude, we won.
Exactly.
And ultimately, like, we won because I think after this, like, we're both feeling better about stuff.
Yes, and we both learned stuff.
We learned, like, the homie level went up one notch.
Right. That's
it's wins on all levels.
Yes.
And so, no, I got to just...
I mean, the fact that you created a podcast and just did it, people have thought... I've had thoughts of doing a podcast, man, but it's like, okay, then the analytical mind. I got basketball. I don't have time. I don't want to worry about this. Like, you did it, right? I mean, that in itself is big, bro. Like,
yeah,
a lot of people have that thought, and not a lot of us go for it because we want everything to be perfect. And in today's society, everything gets judged by views, by likes. And, it's hard just to go for things. But, the more we do go for things, I feel like the easier it becomes. Right?
Hell yeah.
The more chances you take, then you're just like, all right. Like, I can do that. I did the podcast. Why can't I go do something else?
Yeah.
Right?
No, bro. For me, it's that first step.
That's it.
And that, like, I mean, I was in that same. I'd had the mics sitting at the house. I've said this, but had the mics
collecting dust, bro.
Collecting dust, bro. Had the camera. Oh, well, I don't have the right camera.
Right.
Oh, I got this hooked into. I don't have anything. This is literally hooked into my computer.
Yes.
And the camera's nice. My homie gave me the camera.
But there it is.
But once I took that first step, the universe just took me over for me.
Yeah,
and I got the camera from my homie Nick. Shout out Nick, bro. Appreciate you, because we were recording. It was my second one, and I just have a little point and shoot camera that can record video good.
Right.
But it only goes in 17-minute blocks.
Okay.
So every 17 minutes, I'd have to get up, press it again. I fucked up, forgot to do that, so we missed the
whole podcast.
Yeah, we missed a bunch.
Yeah.
And I was like bummed about it, and he's like, bro, don't worry. Or no, the mics got messed up somehow. I don't even know. I forgot to hit record in the beginning. Beginning mistakes, dude.
Happens,
it was number 2,
Happens.
And he's like, dude, like, because I was worried about the camera. That's what it was.
Right.
And he goes, bro, I have this camera just laying at my office. He coaches a girls' Bellevue High School.
Okay.
He's like, I got this camera that's just been laying in my office. I think it's nice.
Right.
He's like, you can have it.
Right.
I was like, oh, are you sure? He's like, dude, it's been in my office for 10 months.
See?
And so I went and picked it up, and bro, that's a nice camera.
Yes.
And like, I when I got it, I looked it up. I said, bro, are you sure?
Right.
Like, you could sell this, and like, you got 3
Make some
kids.
money.
Like, you could get a little bread. He's like, dude, I've had it for 10 months. Sitting there, if I wanted to do something with it, I should have done. Like, you need it.
Right.
You
That's
use
awesome.
it, and
That's
so it's
awesome.
been like a cool motivational thing in a way, because like he really believes in me too.
Right.
And I appreciate what you've said about it, because
It's not easy,
man. No, it's not. And
Podcasting not easy. Everybody
No.
wants one these days. Everybody's getting one too, but it's like, okay, it'll fall off at like they'll stop because they look at it like, oh, this is not good. I'm gonna stop like
Dude.
making content.
if you look on my anchors, like where you can upload it to Spotify,
Right.
all that stuff, like, bro, the most views on a Spotify I got is like 20,
Right.
maybe 19. I might be rounding up.
Yeah.
On YouTube, it's all right, but like like we talked about before, I'm really not even looking at that
Numbers.
Right now. I'm not trying to make money off of it.
No.
It's like just the
good to-
connection
yeah, man.
and I mean,
It's good to have the content. You might go back and look and learn something from it for
dude,
yourself, right?
Dude,
Like, I would.
everyone, because this one, hopefully I'm trying to get in the habit of editing them quicker
Yeah.
and putting them out quicker. But a couple of them I did 3 in Lisbon, and then I didn't edit them until like a month later.
Right.
And I'm going through it looking for little clips,
Yeah.
and something will come up that's like,
That's a great
I
point.
needed that.
Yeah,
I needed that at this moment.
Yes.
And that's what, back to everything happens for a reason. Like, I needed it at this moment.
Right.
And so if I would have done it right when I recorded,
Right.
I didn't need it then.
But you
I needed it now.
Right.
And so, no, man, it's been cool. And to your point, like, since I've started, probably had like, a handful of people like, hey, like, what do you, I really want to do this. Like, what,
Right.
what do you need? How
Yeah.
do you have this? How do you have that?
Right.
And in that same analytical mindset
Yep.
that we've been in, and I was like, dude, my advice now is like, just do the first one.
Right. Just
Like
get it out.
solo, like if it sucks, it sucks, but just do the first one.
Right.
Because, bro, I literally, before the first one, my solo one, I had the camera set up. I was at my mom's crib. My mom's like in the office next door.
I heard that story.
Yeah, and I'm literally like
whispering in there.
I'm waiting for her to like go vacuum or something, and then I started. And once I started, I was like, "Oh, what? I've been
Yeah.
tripping over this?
Yeah.
like this is just kind of
It's just
fun,
fear, bro.
Like,
Yeah.
and then as soon as I got done with that, but bro, I'm even caught up now. Like, I haven't done a solo one here because, like, I have roommates.
Right.
And so, like, I'm, like, kind of concerned.
A little bit, right? In
You
the
know,
back
I
of
have
your
I
mind.
have the little insecurity of, like, setting it up at the house
Right.
and recording, and then maybe them being in the other room hearing it.
Yes.
When, like, I know that they watch the stuff on Instagram. Like, they're
Right.
going to hear it anyway.
Bro, that's like I told Haley, like when I was like, "Can you not be in the room when I'm doing this?" I don't know why, bro.
Totally.
It's just a little insecurity, or I don't know if I'm gonna be. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's just that little voice in the back of your head. I really shouldn't pay attention to it, but it's like, can I just do it by myself?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know,
For sure.
but it's just how it is sometimes.
No, and, bro, I can...
I'm aware of it.
Totally.
I know I do that.
And and I think important part of it is we acknowledge it.
Yes, I'm
And
not trying to
recognize
hide it.
No, and like that, like for me, that it's like vulnerability
Yeah, it's a big step, man.
and like admitting some shit you really don't
I
want to
suck at that
admit.
sometimes. Yeah,
like
exactly.
And that's a big thing for me this last like year with like being vulnerable.
Yes.
And it's the opinion of vulnerability is changing a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
In the past, I for sure viewed it as like a weakness.
Right.
And like, I'm not going to let somebody into
My space.
my inner,
Right, but we're humans, bro. We're
Yeah.
human at the end of the day.
And when you realize too, like, fucking everybody's thinking
Yes.
these kind of thoughts.
Yes.
And
You could
once
be
you put it out there,
Yes.
you're the strong one.
Yes.
Because it's like, oh, damn, like, I think that too, but he'll admit it
Yes.
and own it. Not
Yes.
even admit it, but like,
It's
bro,
what it is.
you know,
Who I
like,
am.
like sitting on, like, talking, like, I fucking cried my eyes out at
Right.
JUCO when I got gray shirt.
Right.
Like,
Someone
hurt.
might hear that and be like, "Oh, okay, like
Yeah.
he did it."
Like, it's, and now even, like, with the relationship girls, just homie, like,
Yeah.
bro, I got no problem saying whatever.
Right.
Like, shit. I probably cried a few days ago over
Right.
some random shit,
Right.
like, and what, like, that used to, I would never dream of saying something like that because
Right.
it's like, you got to keep this
Face persona,
fit,
Yeah,
and, but now it's like, dude, that's a ultimate
It's okay.
strength.
Yes.
To be, because dude, ultimately it comes back to like being you.
Exactly.
And like, bro, there's only one Tyler out here.
Right.
You know, there's only one me.
That's it.
Like I've said it on my, like, I'm the star of my movie.
Right.
You're the star of your movie.
100%.
Like, if everyone can start thinking that, and like, I don't mean act like a movie star,
No,
but like
people
understand.
find their calling.
Yeah.
And not care. At the end of the day, we think people care more than they actually care.
Dude.
Like, I can think someone's judging me. He can really care less about what I'm.
Dude.
He doesn't care, but I think he does. All right? It's just
And
like that.
Think about this. This is how I finally is. We're walking on Barcelona Street, whatever, and you see someone dressed crazy.
Right.
And so as you walk by them or whatever, crazy.
Yeah.
You walk by them and you see, oh, okay.
That's interesting.
Interesting for, maximum 10 seconds while they're in your eyesight.
Yes.
And then maybe 3 more steps.
It's gone.
We're on to the next thing, dude.
Yo, that's unbelievable interpretation right there, because that is so true.
Like,
I didn't even think of it like that.
I mean, I finally got that because when I was first doing the vlog, like Nepal vlogs.
Yeah, I like that,
I've
bro.
always, thank you. I've always really wanted to do vlogs.
Me too.
But I
just never
hate,
have.
bro. I hate being this guy
Oh,
with the camera.
hate seeing it too. I'm like,
I hate seeing it, bro. Oh, I hate
they're
it.
doing their thing.
Yeah, I hate, bro, and I hate it. And it was like, and I still like. This is just a realization right now. As I say, like, I only really want to do vlogs in like foreign countries.
Yes.
Because I don't want to do it in the States. I'm not in the States a ton.
Yeah.
But because I know, like, I'm thinking what what you just said. I don't like to see dudes doing this either. Or
Bro, when you mess with it in Tim's, though, you brought, like, I've been wanting to bring a camera in there and film, but I'm like, I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. I don't want to be that guy. I'm just gonna. I'll take a little clip, but you came in with the video. I'm like, yo, this is dope. I hope he gets I hope I'm in some of the footage. Like, please. Then you made that clip. I'm like, oh, that's sweet. I should have did that. It's just like, bro, people. You do things. You see people do things that you want to do, and you're kind of like, oh God, he's doing it. Like, dang it, I should have did it.
Yeah, and then there's like the weird, like, it's like almost like a defense mechanism of being like, man, that's fucking lame.
Yeah, but
and
no,
really,
that's
like,
dope.
you're like, damn, I really want to do that.
Yes.
But when I was in Asia, I was in Nepal, like, and I was with one of my best friends is Nepalese.
Yeah.
And so I'm in like the local area where I'm the only white dude.
Right.
I mean, I'm getting all kinds of looks
Right.
everywhere I go,
Right.
whether I have a camera or not.
Right.
And because that was always my thing for not wanting to really do it.
Yes.
Of like, I feel like people are looking at me.
Attention. Yeah.
And then there I'm walking around and I'm getting looks without a camera.
Right.
Especially now now I'm for sure, but now I have the excuse.
Right.
Now they're looking at me. I like gave them a reason to.
Look,
and it was like this power, like owning it
Right.
essentially.
Right.
And so like, I finally was just like, okay, I'm going to do it.
Why not?
And now I'm going back and editing some
see
of that
that.
stuff
I
and
see
like
that, bro.
and it was literally like over a year ago. And that's what's been cool and the like thing I'm starting to realize is having this content, like having this, like it'll be fun for us to look back when I post it.
100%.
It'll be fun when we get the random 1 year ago
Yes.
thing, when we
Yes.
get the 5 year ago thing,
Yes.
like, and in 25 years,
Right. We'll be glad we.
like,
you can
and I'm getting that just from the Nepal stuff
Right.
from a little over a year ago, where I don't remember saying some of the stuff or doing some of the stuff,
Right.
like word for word.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh.
You kind of like see growth too. Like I look at old interviews I did, and you kind of just see what headspace you're in at that time. It's like, oh wow, like I think I've matured a lot since then, and the things I'm saying now I didn't even think about then. And it's just kind of interesting to go back and see that stuff. So it's good to document it for sure.
Yeah, man. No, it's been a fun little like journey. And dude, it's funny you say that about Tim's. Like that first day, like bro, that first day I brought the and that was like my old shitty GoPro too.
Right.
And bro, the first day I brought it in, I was nervous. Because I was thinking what you kind of thought of, like, I don't want anyone to feel a certain way.
Especially
but
no one knows you either. You're like I never met you. I'm like, what's this cat bringing this
and bro, and like, I don't really fit it, you know, like appearance-wise, fit into the Tim group,
but
you
like
know?
super dope.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this cat's dope.
and so I'm thinking, like, you know, I knew Tim would be kind of hyped on it because Tim, like, you know, Tim always wants to have his stuff recorded. And but then I was kind of thinking about the other people, and then I thought, like, I flipped it and was like, shit, if someone else came in here and was doing that, like, I'd be stoked, because then I'd have some content of me, you know? And so, but I can still remember that first day coming in and doing it and, like, getting that kind of, like, what the fuck's this guy doing?
Really?
And
see, I wasn't even aware of that. Like, you might, like, I wasn't even thinking that. I was thinking, like, oh, this is sick.
Yeah, and maybe totally just in my own head, you know, now that we say it.
Yes.
And then as soon as I released the first one, it was just a group one.
Easy.
And I mean, bro, looking back on it now too, like, compared with some of the stuff I've done recently, I'm like, ugh, like, it's not good. But at the time, like, everyone was like stoked on it.
Yes.
And so as soon as I put that one out, it was all of a sudden I could, and maybe this is again just how I felt in my own.
Right.
And I came in the next day with it, and it was kind of like,
oh, thank God.
Like, he's got it. Okay, he's doing another, you know, like,
cut for this day. Yes,
and so it was funny. Just, I remember, like I said, kind of circling around. Like, I remember that day. I knew it was your last day, or last couple days, or last week, and I was like, I'm gonna do one for this dude. And I don't know, I don't know why. You know, like, we talked a couple times, you know, throughout the workouts or whatever, and I was just like, I'm gonna. But it's cool to me that it's kind of came full circle, and we're like sitting here now and
weird.
Like talking, and, you know, we both, like, I think over the last few, you know, we had that one conversation where it was like, you know, I think we were both kind of in a down portion of, you know, the ups and downs, and I was like, bro, I'm here, you know, holler at me whenever, and like, even though we probably don't need to hear that, it's like, that's a nice little reminder to have, and I think we're getting to a point where, you know, I'm trying to always be genuine about it, but letting people know, like, you love them, or like, you're here for them, or whatever it may be, because I mean, the Kobe I
was just about to say that, like, Kobe thing shook, I think, everybody. Like, it was just a weird time. It's like, okay, if Kobe can die, that's Superman. And I grew up in LA.
Bro,
Kobe was everything, and I was just thinking, wow, you think Kobe's gonna live forever, even though you know he's not.
Bro, I for sure thought Kobe was gonna die after me. I was dying before Kobe.
100%. Or, like, I don't know, man. And it was just a weird week. Even, like, I was talking to Haley about it. It's like, any of us could die at any moment. I mean, you really just need to enjoy life and just live in that moment. And that's honestly one of the reasons why I started. Like, I don't mean to brand plug, but, like, that's why I started the moment.
Please do.
Myself.
Yeah.
You know, and the analytical me was like, okay, I'm not like a clothing guy. I don't. Who's gonna like the moment? And I just did it one time. I just put it on a shirt, and people hit me up like, where could I get one? And, like, now, this last year, I just finished the website, and like, I'm gonna launch it this week or next week, and it's just like,
what's the?
It's gonna be on my Instagram.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna put all that stuff up there, but, like, just to literally just try to live in the moment, man, because, like you said, tell the loved ones you love them. Like, man, we're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised the next hour, man. So
you
really have to just enjoy quality time with people, and like you said, tell them you love them and just enjoy it.
Dude, I'm really glad. I don't have my notes up, but that was in my note to bring the.
I don't even you don't have to talk about it.
No, but I meant to, because, dude, in a similar way of, like, the TikTok game, you know, totally different. Like, this is much more serious.
Right.
But both serious. Like, I have a kind of idea with the whole Living for a Living brand of having some kind of clothing, you know, and something. And, dude, I remember the first post or whatever, the first thing I saw with the moment, and not bullshit. I need to get something at some point.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know, like
We'll
without a
link
doubt,
on the
because
gram.
I want to support. But I remember being like, damn, like that's another one of those things like the podcast, bro.
Right.
Where like a lot of people want to do something like
Yes.
that, and it's taken that first step of like, you know,
Just do it.
you know, maybe that first design, and
It's
I'm
terrible.
just yeah.
I look back on it.
Okay.
Me and Haley just look. We're like, oh my god, it was huge. Like now we got like some dope little like slogans. I'll show you after
Yeah,
this.
okay,
but like,
cool.
bro, like you look back on it, and it's still not perfect. But
No.
at the time, I thought that was
Yeah, and
what it was.
and in a year or two or
gonna
three,
be different.
you're gonna look back at it how it is now and be like, oh, that was
Right?
you know, and
It's just doing it.
But that's the process,
It
and that's
is,
what's
man.
if we got it right off the bat, like what's the fun? You
None.
know, like, and no, but I really was like, I mean, I'm still in the bullshitting kind of
Right.
like, or the over planning
Yes.
thing of like, oh, I'm gonna get this, I need to get this done first, and then and
Right.
that, and build this, and
Right.
then I'll put it out or
Right.
whatever. But no, when you did that and put that out, it was, you know, especially when it's someone like you that I'm, you know, like, oh, hey, you know, when it's someone like I can relate to.
Right.
You know, it's not like a fucking celebrity or something on
Yeah.
Instagram that puts out and like you don't equate that to like your same
Right.
like
You know-
equality
exactly.
kind of thing. And so when
Exactly.
you came out with that, I was just like, oh, like, you know,
You
I
can
mean
do
this
it.
in the nicest way. If he can do it, I can do it. You know, like, you know,
100%.
like at the core. And I think that's a cool thing to just like have out there.
Right.
You know, so no, I gotta give you props on that.
Appreciate
Because
that.
it's like it's been and I'm glad it just came up naturally too, because
Yeah.
I wanted to bring it up
For sure.
and we got into some astrology, bro.
Now we got see now she's
Yeah.
in here, bro. New me. See,
Yeah, I
like,
know.
Here it
I
comes.
can see.
I gotta change.
Yeah, he was saying before that like he asked you to leave for a little bit of it because he's like, we were just talking about being self-conscious.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story. So I had a radio interview about a month ago, and I was like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I should just tell her to stay at home.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what, just come. I'm like, I'm gonna get over this like little thing in my head. Like, okay, I don't need to try to worry about her there. So I get done with the interview. First thing in the car, like, okay, you need to work on. This was not good. Like you need to explain this more. I'm like, okay, I knew I shouldn't have brought you here.
Okay, no, I said you did.
Uh-oh.
When they asked him about basketball.
Here it comes.
But when they asked him about life, they're like, "What was your first impression journey?" He goes, "I was tired. I don't remember." Like, I was thinking about something more.
Like I just, it's just
You were
just-
real.
I was real, and so it's just see how it starts, and this is why in the back of my head I'm like but no, I'm good now.
Yeah,
I'm good.
no, it was funny. As soon as I heard the door and walk in, I was like,
I was
ooh,
like,
perfect.
Here,
in a way,
here
you know?
it goes.
And but even like I mean, I don't even know you, and I kind of was like,
Straighten up a
oh,
little bit.
okay, like, yeah, I gotta, you know. But then I was like, oh, fuck it,
Gotta
dude.
get some good questions
Yeah,
out now.
okay.
For sure.
Like, oh, well, so it was a good one. Let's
Wrap it up.
No, man, it's let me see, what do we got, dude? We kind of hit everything, to be honest. I'm not even. I know we were just joking about wrapping it up, but I mean, I'm kind of curious. What's been your like? You have like habits you consider that make yourself more successful, or like put you in that mind space? Like I know meditation, but you got kind of anything else that along those lines that you feel get you in the right mindset, or if you get off track
Yeah.
and get in a down like that you can kind of lean on and get back into.
Honestly, meditation is big for me.
Yeah.
That's something I lean on a lot. Obviously, I lean on my wife a lot. I mean, she's there with me every day. But
How often are you meditating?
I meditate every day.
Every
Like
day?
we'll meditate when we go to bed.
Okay.
Before games, sometimes I'll meditate. But to me, I think just finding my center and bringing myself back to my breath is what helps me find that flow. I'm all about flow, and
Yeah.
I feel like once I'm in my flow, things don't bother me as much, like good or bad. I could miss 10 shots. If I'm in that flow, I feel like it'll turn around.
Totally.
So that helps me find my happy place, I feel like.
Okay, word. Yeah. No, it's that it's cool too, like, and with Will, like, it's fun that me and him have really, now we're like podcast homies, essentially, because we didn't know each other until podcast, and then I was on his, he was on mine, and for two dudes that don't know each other at all, like, we just went, and like talking about pretty much everything, more or less, and vulnerability and all that kind of. And so like, I remember yours was the first one of the Flow Station I watched the full one of. And so that was like a cool, and now you being on here, I was like, it's a cool little circle. Like, I mean, shit, it's all about that, and we've came full circle. For sure. All right. Hey, now I mean, I think I'll get audio from the camera. It won't be as good, but we can still use it.
Do you need to bring her over here?
No, I mean, shit. Yeah, if you want to come over, you can. Or you can stay there. It's all whatever you're most comfortable with. All right.
She always talks about her shine. This is time to
shine.
Okay,
girl, let's shine.
Oh, she got the moment shirt on.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. We got the brand. Yeah. Hey, this is the first time I've had a third person come in on it.
We're almost done, so this is perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
You can come up here.
Well, I thought of something else too. You do. You listen to relaxing music.
Oh yeah. So I listen to like smooth jazz. I listen to jazz. I don't listen to like pump up songs for games. No, I listen to like Bruno sometimes, smooth jazz, or just
that's funny you say that.
Some Beethoven.
I'm not in that like chill of music, but I have one playlist now on Spotify. I almost feel dumb for having because I listen to, it's one playlist called The Vibes that's like maybe 25 songs. And some of them are, there's some nip on there. There's, some like kind of pump, but for the most part, it's just whatever. And I work out to it. I walk around to it. Like, it's all, because for me, it's like this thing of music it's essentially a vibration. You know, music is a vibration that we're getting, and I know what's working. And so I used to be a new music every day, try to find the new thing, this and that. But I know, like, and every now and then I'll come across a random song in a cafe or a friend's playing or whatever that, like, you're like, ooh,
Shazam
this
that.
Is that one. Exactly. Shazam that.
Shazam that.
And so I've just been on the music thing, like, if it works, it works.
100%.
And so, no, but it's all like kind of low beats per minute, essentially.
It's based on the person, though. Like, for me, I'm not a big, like hoop rock kind of guy. Like, I don't play like that. I'm not that kind of guy. So that kind of just helps me find my flow before a game or something.
And I was playing my playlist in the gym the other day, and there's only like 2 other guys in the gym, and it's kind of a small one. And one dude's Spanish, and he doesn't really speak any English, and he just looked at me, he's like, Joey, la música es lento. Like, the music's slow, like, mas, like, we need, like, I need more pump up. And I was like, bro, I'm in my zone right now. I'm feeling good. But yeah, okay. I want to hear I've heard
her side of the story about things.
I've heard
relationship, long distance.
We could do that. But First, I want to hear your impression or like your recollection of our random meeting on the street.
Oh my God.
Because you had no clue who I was.
Yeah. I just hear like a woohoo or something behind me. So I turn around and like, I don't know. And I look at Ty, and Ty's face kind of lit up, and I was like, there's no way. Because I know he's mentioned, like, he had a buddy that lived here. But then I was like, oh, nope, it's happening. And this is it. Like, it was just, I could see the light on his face. Like, oh, because Ty's all about, like, things happen for a reason, So, like, oh, man. He couldn't talk about it the rest of the night.
Yeah.
I was like, I just couldn't
stop.
believe it.
Dude, that's what, and it's funny, that's what Ava said. Like, she's like, you were so happy. Like, when I got up, and because I've now heard her version of it. I've heard like everyone's version of the story, so it's really kind of cool to me. And like, now that I told him in the beginning, and that's how we started this, was like, I like hopped off the scooter. Like, it was still kind of moving. Like, I don't know how, that was an out-of-body experience damn near. And, like...
I didn't even think about that. Well, I just like the motorcycle go away. I was like, did his friend just leave him? Like,
yeah, she went. And what's crazy is we literally were parking right there.
Yeah.
Because the sandwich spot was like, I could throw a rock and hit it from where we met.
It's crazy.
And so, no, that was
Yeah.
like,
And did you explain, like, too, it's just like how we had dinner reservations, but we, like, skipped that.
Yep.
Yeah, we tried to go to the other place for dessert, and they're, like, closing. So just how all these weird things have to line up. Yeah.
And it brought us here.
No, for sure. All right. Well, then, yeah, let's also, like you said, how has been, I told him earlier, I've done, like, long distance through my living and playing in Europe the last, like, 4 or 5 years. And to be honest, like, normally pretty unsuccessfully. And I asked him, like, how he managed through it. And I'd like to hear your like side of it, because
can't wait to edit this and put them right by each other.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Because
What do you mean?
because I mean we explained how like it's easier, I think, maybe for us because we're out here, like this is what he wants to be doing, like playing hoops is like his dream, and you know, like he's saying, you know, you're not working but you want to be working, and it's a tough kind of struggle. Like, how have you managed through it?
Well, so at the I think what really helped us too is that we were able to grow such a strong base in college, because we met when we were freshmen. So we had like a really strong friendship, and it was kind of when he got drafted and whatever happened, we were just like, it wasn't how, like, or it wasn't if, it was just like how it's gonna work. Like, there was never a question if it's going to. We just kind of had that really strong bond. But then once he came over, I was working for what we did it for a year and a half. Once you went to Italy, went pretty hard. So I quit my job just to, like, I was looking for something new eventually anyway. So it just took a 3-month kind of thing with him in Italy, which helped. But yeah, I just always knew when we weren't married that I needed to also have my own, you just never know what could happen. Like, I needed to be able to take care of myself and have my own resume and career. So I just kind of knew what I had to do. I think it's also just how I was raised too, of just having that security. But what really helped us is that always had a trip planned or a deadline. And so that was everything. And also just putting yourself first when it comes to like FaceTiming in the morning, like getting up at 5 a.m. every day. And I'd do my workouts at night instead, even though I love my morning workouts. I would, get up at 5, talk to him, and then do that after because he'd be in bed anyway. And then what else did we do? But yeah, I think the deadlines were huge, and just summers were awesome because thank God they had those.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I mean, as I said, I've done it unsuccessfully, but if it was good, the one thing I feel that is necessary is like having that next trip, that next thing to look forward to, that like it's not just into the abyss.
Is going to end, because we always knew marriage was kind of in our future eventually. We didn't know how long, but and then once we got married, it's kind of like, I'm going, I know he can't play forever, as long enjoy it as much.
How long you think you got left in you?
I don't know, man. Like I said, I've been injured a lot, so I know you're one injury away from something, but you can't look at it like that. So I'm just trying to play as long as I can, how long my body will help me. I feel like a lot of the stuff we do with Tim, and I like to do acupuncture and stuff a lot. So I don't know, my body feels good right now. It's best my body's felt. So I'm just gonna play as long as I can, man, and we'll see. I don't know. Who knows?
As long as the situation's also good. Like,
yeah. As long as you're always moving up and you're comfortable, and now we both got to be comfortable. It's not just me. We could thug it out and live anywhere, but now you got to make sure your wife's comfortable, and you guys are in a good city, in a good situation. So knock on wood, I hope I'm playing for a while.
Yeah, and is that going to kind of change a little bit on, like, what, obviously, like, the teams you're looking for? Like, I mean, I kind of, this season for me, I went kind of, fuck the money, I'm going to be in Barcelona, and no matter, exactly, like 30 minutes away from this, and so is that going to maybe kind of change a little bit of the career, where maybe you're not thinking like the top league or the top paycheck, but like if it can be in a better city or something, like, is that changing your mindset with that at all?
I think before I ever make a decision, like now we both, we'll talk about it and see like, okay, is this a good situation for this? You're getting paid this much. We're at this city. It has to be both sides.
Yeah.
Can we both thrive?
Yeah. Can we both thrive in this situation? So, I mean, you're not thinking for one now, you're thinking for two. So you got to make sure you're both comfortable. So I've been lucky enough to be playing in great cities.
Yeah.
Ulm's great. France, I was in a great city. Italy, I was in a great city. So I've been pretty blessed with that. So, going forward, we'll survey the situation and see what happens.
Go for it. No.
I was going to say, for me personally, though, Germany has been awesome.
Yeah?
Really
Germany's been great.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's been great.
In what way? Because, like, I've had a few... GFL for football is, like, the best league.
Really?
And, like, we're most professional, per se. But I've just had this, like, a lack of desire to be there. And so now, like, you say that, I'm kind of like, oh, so what?
That's how we kinda work first, right?
Yeah.
I guess it's just going initially. I think a lot of it has to do with the organization and the team too, making you feel comfortable, and people are there to help and support you, because there are difficult situations of trying to figure out things like going to the doctor, just things like that, where they were very on top of it. Good living situations, and just honestly, the Americans on the team are great too, and the Germans. The Germans are amazing, but
it's a great organization for sure.
Oh, nice.
Like, it's a lot of wives, girlfriends. I feel like everyone's on this team's a little older than you have in the past. Not older, but or settled down.
Families, yeah.
And
settled
mature
down families.
too.
Yeah, but he's also had some great players in the past too. But this, because I'm here the whole time, I've gotten at least to know the team, the people really well.
That helps too.
Yeah. Is there a kind of like a place in mind that you would want to, like, we're looking for a squad, like, or a country maybe that moving forward next that you have in mind at all?
I think this, like, you never know what situation, and we could have as many dreams and aspirations, but at the end of the day, the team's got to like you, the organization's got to like you. So, I mean, of course you want to be in the top leagues wherever you play. I mean, Germany's a great league, and we play in Euro Cup, which is the top league. So, we just kind of take it one day at a time, whatever situation. Yeah. We make the decision.
Whatever I think's going to happen doesn't happen.
Yeah, we've learned that too.
I want to go here, we won't go there.
Okay. Yeah, so I tell her, don't even tell me what you want, because that ain't going to happen. So now we just take it one day at a time.
Yeah, you got to use that to your advantage now.
Yes. So we don't even try to plan it, bro, because nothing has gone as planned.
Okay. Well, shit, that's cool. I mean, I would say, I've talked to you about it before, but bro, if you can get there to Benfica and Lisbon,
go. Bro, we may travel there to see it
for sure. And
Lisbon? Oh, I've been to Lisbon.
She's been. I haven't.
Yeah.
So
Lisbon. Yeah, I've gotten to see. And I went to Porto.
Yeah.
Douro Valley.
All of Portugal for me is like.
Yeah, maybe after the season we'll go check it out.
Like, for sure, bro. And when you like, my plan for after this season, my season ends in May, like you, is if there's a possibility I can get picked up by a German team or a Finnish team mid-season if something doesn't work out. Now I have Irish citizenship, and so I'm like, I don't count as an American.
Oh, that's perfect.
And so, like, it makes you way more valuable in that. And so I could, if the right situation presents itself, and if not, then I'm thinking either here and just living and figuring out a little hustle just to be, or initially, the only reason I'm saying here right now is because of Ava.
Right.
And before, a month ago,
you weren't thinking like that.
No, I was thinking Lisbon.
Right.
Or somewhere in Portugal, like working at like a hostel on the beach, and just kind of for the summer,
right?
And learning to surf or something like that.
Cool.
And because I was in Lisbon for 2 years. That was my first spot in Europe that I played. And then I've pretty much gone back at least once a year. I was there for Christmas. I'll be there in a couple weeks for the weekend. Did a road trip all through northern Portugal 2 summers ago. And so, no, I mean, like, when you go there, and when you got to go there for sure, is I got, especially for Lisbon now, I got like the 3-day, 4-day, like,
plan.
Go here, you take this, you do that, you eat here, or I mean, and you can always go off of that.
For sure.
I was actually looking at Portugal for this break too. Yeah. So.
We were.
Yeah.
Were we? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know.
we were.
Well, yeah. But
there it is.
But we ended up here. I'm glad we ended up here.
Man.
But definitely a place on the list.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, yeah, no. for sure, bro. But that's it. It's 2:05 now. I know
Perfect,
you got
man.
the checkout. I appreciate you doing the
man, thanks
late
for
checkout.
having us on
Yeah,
here.
I know. And
I'm
this is
honored.
this is cool.
Special guest.
Yeah, this is really cool. Like I was like, ooh, she came in. Like, yeah, hop in. Like,
Why not?
Now I need a third mic. Although I need a third import
I won't.
spot
I
for
won't
that.
be offended if you just cut me all out.
No,
This
no,
whole
I'm
thing.
keeping you in. I gotta
Yeah.
figure out to hopefully make the audio right, but
Yeah.
I think we can do it. But no, bro, as always, much love and
Perfect, man. Thanks for having me on here.
dude. It's you got any closing? I always kind of let whoever close it out if you want.
Honestly, if whoever's watching this, I would just say whatever you want to do in life, just go for it. And things aren't always going to go according to plan, but if you stay in that happy mental space, I feel like you can achieve whatever you want. It might not be the right time that you think, but what's meant for you will find you. And I think stay positive. And that's just been my journey. What's meant for me is gonna happen for me, and I'm just gonna enjoy the journey.
The journey is the destination.
Done. Mic drop.
Ooh,
Boom.
I like that.
That's my dad's quote.
That's your dad's quote. The journey is the
destination.
There it is.
Ooh.
Yeah, we love it.
Boom. Appreciate it, brother.